Thank you. I seriously doubt that there's anything new in this thing they call the generation gap. Maybe it's because I've got a fairly good memory. Believe it or not, I was a young sprout once upon a time, and I had a fairly dim opinion of the way the older generation was running the show. I was impatient, too. I used to think how wonderful it would be if you didn't automatically have to work your way up the ladder of success, if they just automatically gave you what you deserved, because after all, we youngsters were so all-fired bright and charming and worthwhile. Of course, there are differences between my generation and this young generation that's steaming up the windows these days. I think they are a hardier lot, and I think they're even a mite brighter than we were. But they also take themselves far more seriously than we did. You kind of wonder if they haven't sort of lost some of their sense of humor. Every generation has its own set of magic words that they think are going to change the whole world, almost as though they invented them. Now, there's one word I hear bandied about by youngsters, and I seriously question whether they understand what that word means. More on this after this message. I seriously question whether kids today understand what they're about when they demand power. That's the magic word today, power. Power will solve all the problems. Youngsters want power to take over the universities, run business, and government. They also want power so that they can break all the old, tiresome rules with impunity. There's an idea that power is something far off, almost unreachable, that other people possess it and we don't. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. We all possess a frightening degree of power. Only thing is that few of us are aware of this treasure we have. For lack of a better term, let's call it mind power. Mind power is 1,000 times more powerful than atomic power. Sure, atomic power could blow this planet of ours to smithereens. But if humanity would get hold of this other power, this mind power, it would make atomic power look pale. Directed mind power could solve all of our problems of war and poverty and race. And when I say solve these problems, I mean correctly, not in a superficial way, like allocating $1 billion here and another billion there, but solve them permanently so that there'd be no room left for humbug and hypocrisy. We all have mind power, but how many of us choose to exercise it? You are the equal to any problem you have. In fact, if you use just the tiniest fraction of your mind power, those problems will vanish into thin air. Don't run away from your problems. Stay with them and slug it out. With mind power, you can't lose.